Oh man. Greetings, salutations. Good times always. What's that right there? Oh man. All right. I'll get something. I'll fix that later. Look, you have to tell us grown folks. Hey man, we have some like really good people who decided to come on the show. And this one right here in particular, recommended by a friend of the show, Jeremiah, man. But more than recommended, she's also running for first VP of the FAMU National Alumni Association. She's done some amazing things. And she's gonna come here and, let y'all see the person behind the picture, behind the photo. I'm just telling y'all, I think she's kind of a gem of a candidate. It's just my personal opinion, no bias, nothing like that. She might even be one of the first of the first. Hey, catch the subliminals if you want to. You already know what it's about to be. Fangs up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does! And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, let's get y'all ready, man. Hopefully you're excited. I told y'all we got a gem of a candidate. Yeah, I'm always into subliminals. If you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, you didn't. But want to make sure we introduce our guest of the day from the JR Elite chapter. Come on up, Miss Ashleigh Cooper. And she's wearing the pearls. Like, I did not tell her to wear pearls. Pure happenstance.
Had to.
So how's it going today?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me this evening.
Always, always, always. So as y'all know, we are having some of the individuals that are running for office within the FAMU National Alumni Association come on to the show and really talk to y'all, tell y'all what they're trying to do. What's up, little baby? Because I'm like y'all, I don't know what some of these folks are. I think actually asked me, like, you got everybody coming on? I'm like, honestly, I didn't even know how many positions we had. I knew it was president. I knew it was first vice president. Some other folks, I'm like, yo, they're welcome because I'm trying to learn like the rest of y'all. But, part of being here and working with the NAA is just learning, doing some of the things. And, actually, y'all are active. Y'all are, especially your chapter, y'all are outside, as the children would say. But I'm going to ask you the question. Why did you choose FAMU?
Well, good evening, everyone. I am Ashleigh Cooper. To start off, I am a native of Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised. And of course, I come from a family of rattlers. My mother graduated from the School of Business and Industry in the 70s. So she got the real civil mobley experience. So of course, growing up as a child, hearing about all the experiences she had. My siblings also attended FAMU, freshman class of 1997 and freshman class of 2001. Again, got to see their experience as a student at FAMU. And also one of the key components I would also say is the mentors that I have had in my life growing up as a child. My middle school band teacher, the late Miss Karen B. Jenkins, she graduated from FAMU with her degree in music education. And her husband, who was very supportive and very active with us as students in the middle school band, he went to FAMU as well and was a member of the Marching 100. Also, when I got to high school, my high school band director, Mr. Marcus Young, went to FAMU and was a member of the Marching 100 and would take the band to homecoming every year. So I live and bleed truly orange and green. So of course I had no choice. I thought I wanted to go somewhere else to try to start my own legacy, but that didn't work. My mom said, my money is going to FAMU, so you make the choice.
I see our parents, they must have known each other. My dad did that to me. He's like, you go, you want to. But my money's going to FAMU. So I was like, hey, I ain't taking no loans. So well, that's awesome. Look, And if y'all don't know, for those who aren't familiar with the state of Florida, Jacksonville is not close, but it's not far. It's about 2.5 hours. What makes it far is that trip through the forest. Like
Oh,
once you get past Lake City,
yes.
you're like, man. And then you get to Jacksonville, you're like, we're here. Um, but as y'all can see and as you hear, Ashley's come from a lineage. So she is a multi-generation rattler. um, and within that, we kind of start, you know, looking at different things and seeing while you were at FAMU, what was your major?
My major at FAMU was accounting. I did get a bachelor's degree in accounting.
Okay. So she's good with numbers. All
Absolutely.
right. Look. I just, you know, y'all know I be trying to set people up, be trying to get them. So I'm gonna catch you later. Nothing nefarious. Always good things. So you can see history, accounting. Also, look, don't let her fool you. Ashley's going to be kind of quiet, kind of bashful. Y'all already know Keith is one of those people. I do my research. I graduate degree in history at FAMU, but she made it easy for me. She also put on her profile here. She also attended Nova, and for Nova Business Administration, and then Cornell Project Management. So this young lady has some chops. She's been doing some pretty amazing things. And could you just speak about what you do professionally, within project management and things of that nature?
Yes. So a little backstory. Starting out in accounting, at FAMU, I was told, pick a career field that would be sustainable through the years, no matter the ups and downs of the economy. Pick something that you'll have a job. So I started out in accounting because, of course, I love numbers. But as I continued to grow and develop in the field, um, I've learned that I love collaborating with people. And so I'm not the typical accountant that's behind the desk crunching numbers 8 to 5 and go home and don't talk to anyone, antisocial. That's not me. And so being a part of the National Alumni Association, of course, you're in positions where you have to collaborate with people. You have to work with people. Problems and issues come up, and you have to be able to quickly adjust. And so being a project manager, I've been able to, in the corporate sector, implement systems to promote effective and efficient processes. And so I love solving problems. So in the corporate sector, there's always an issue, something going on, something changing, positions, people leaving, people coming. And so being that glue of the corporate sector has provided me a great opportunity to oversee projects and make sure that the company is sustainable through the future.
Okay. And look, actually, I already got a few hellos. Got Patricia Shaw. She said hello. And then Marvin, he just said he made that trip back from Jacksonville today. So, it's a fun ride.
Make that trip
It's gonna
off.
be better. It's gonna be better when they get to Bucky's in Tallahassee. Like I ain't gonna
Yes,
lie.
I am so excited about that. We have one in St. Augustine here, just outside of
Oh,
Jacksonville.
okay. Like I ain't been saying I've seen it so long. Now, uh, what folks may not know or hear is you're active in JRE League, and I'm not gonna lie to you, as a member of the Orlando alumni chapter, um, y'all one of them chapters we be talking about, especially in the Florida region meetings. We were like, "Hey, what they doing in Jerry Lee this week? Like, do you have that? Have you followed it? Are you on the Instagram? Can we just copy and paste it? Okay, cool. They're always doing something." But within Jerry Lee, you've held quite a few roles there.
Yes.
One president, but could you speak to just not just growing that chapter, because it's for the past couple of years, ever since I've known,
Mhm.
it's been active, but also going past growing it, but keeping it as one of those chapters that is active, welcoming, and continuing to just be itself.
Yes. So I'll tell you, it didn't happen overnight. A lot of the success I'm seeing now as chapter president is as a result of a lot of the things that I implemented when I was first vice president. So, for example, one of my first tasks back in 2017 was membership. The president at the time shared the vision. We need to get the numbers and we need to get the young people in the door. And so I was membership committee chair. And so I was responsible for not only recruiting members, but working on the retention, making sure that they pay their dues every year, and also not just coming to meetings, because everyone doesn't want to come to sit in a general body meeting and hear about the business, but finding unique ways to keep members engaged. And so from there, that led me to implementing Be Out Day Jacksonville in 2017, because a lot of the young Rattlers wanted an activity or event that they could be involved in planning and spearheading to have that young flavor in the chapter. And so really, it's really been important to kind of look at the needs of all the demographics, not just the young and not just the seasoned Rattlers, but finding something unique for everyone. So it's funny, our chapter meetings are mainly made up of our seasoned Rattlers because they have the time, they are retired, and they want to know about the business affairs. Whereas our younger Rattlers, implementing a program or something that they feel like they are connected to and they have an impact on the university, I have seen it's shown tremendous success, because people will join an organization when they feel connected and they feel like they serve a purpose in that. And so also going from membership, when I was in the meetings, noticing that gap of there's no young people here, I was looking long term at the success of the chapter. And so I implemented the Jacksonville Rattler Mentoring Program, because, again, younger Rattlers want to be involved in something that they can have an impact. So creating a mentoring program that not only was allowing us to connect with the high school students, but we would host seminars and workshops, and we still do this day. But our younger Rattlers were the ones who came and led the sessions. So for them to come out and speak on their careers, their experiences as a student at FAMU, what it was like, the post-graduation life, I saw a spark in the young Rattlers that they finally felt like, wow, there's a place for me in the Alumni Association that I can be involved with and give back to my university. So a lot of things I created starting back in 2017, 2018 that are still going on to this day have really led to the success that we see now in 2025.
Okay. And like I told y'all, Jerry Lee's like, it's them down in Miami. Orlando, we always doing something too. Ain't gonna lie. Like we popping. But Jerry Lee is definitely one of those chapters, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. Like that question was purposeful. And I'm gonna have you kind of circle back to Be Out Day for a second, though, because one of the things we've kind of talked about and we've mentioned just within our own ranks as National Alumni Association members and just in general is the need to grow and blossom an organization that is multi-generational.
Yeah.
Can you speak out just how does Be Out Day kind of bridge that gap? As far as like, do you see some of the older seasoned Rattlers there as well, or just the young crowd?
Yes, so it is a mixture because it was created to be a community-wide event. And so you have different components of the event, the way it was created in Jacksonville, where we have our vendors, we have our businesses there. We have a kids zone where people can bring their kids to play, jump on bounce houses, and do fun things like that. And of course, the younger Rattlers, having a DJ from FAMU, we found, is when the younger Rattlers coming out. So depending on what generation Rattler you are, like in 2019, we had Bo Weezy. So a lot of people who were in school, probably the early 2000s, when Bo Weezy was there, they came out and supported. And so recently, last year, when we did DJ Loose Kid and DJ Jam, the more recent students came out. So it's ultimately a family event, and it's catered to connecting with the community, sharing the brand about the Alumni Association, and of course, having that special family spirit at the event. So unique things that we do on Set Friday, having a little bit of Set Friday at the event. It really caters to all age
really some of the things y'all have done successfully in Jacksonville. And I'm gonna ask you about how that's gonna translate to, you being first VP in a little bit. So had that in that cerebral cortex somewhere, cerebrum, cerebellum, whichever side you want to put that on. But kind of in that idea, and we're seeing where Jackson was active, and I know it probably sounds like I'm saying this ad nauseum, but it's true. Facts are facts. One of the things that under your administration, Jackson was able to get chapter of the year. So, would you be able to just speak about one, what went into that as far as being recognized for chapter of the year, some of the things that you all did, and just how you were able to bring that back to JRE Lee and really continue it going forward?
Yes. So when I first became president in 2021, one of my first goals was to set a strategic plan. And I took the mission and vision statement of the Alumni Association and the Fridge model, which is focused on fundraising, recruitment, image building, and governmental relations. And I took each of those subcategories to implement where we currently are and where we need to be in those categories. Because being a part of the Alumni Association, this model was built to ensure that everyone is supporting the university in those key areas. And so, with that, implementing strategies and making sure people who were truly passionate about giving back to the university, who had knowledge and experience and connections to the community, I appointed those people to positions to serve in those key areas. So, for example, with our scholarship and recruitment committee, the two young ladies who are Humphrey Arrows Rattlers, they've been serving now for 4 years in that role. They've been able to raise over $200,000 in scholarships since 2021. And it's because, again, making sure you have the right people in the right seat and that we're focused on the main goal. You have to keep the main thing the main thing. And then also another example with governmental relations. Governmental relations is very unique. A lot of people kind of steer away from it because they don't understand it. But the young lady who did serve in our governmental relations committee chair role, she's passionate about politics. She can talk to you day in and day out about governmental relations. And when she got in that role, she just blossomed. She was creating events in the community, voter strategies to making sure we were getting out, encouraging people to vote. She was able to attend FAMU Day at the Capitol to make sure we were abreast of things that were affecting the university and how we could play our key role as a chapter. It was just amazing to see younger graduates who often would steer away from the organization because they thought it was just for retired people that are in the Alumni Association. No, it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter where you come from. You're a graduate of FAMU. You have a love for the school. You can give back. So I must say again, as a result of seeing things that I implemented years ago, they're starting now to get out, and people are like, "Oh, you all are pretty legit in Jacksonville."
Okay. And we see Hattie Alexander in there. Look, I'm telling you, you don't recognize that name. I don't know who you
Hall of
are,
Famer. Those from Hall
but
of Fame.
that that's Mama right there. I look, she is. I don't know how she do it. Like she's active with the boosters. She's active in NAA. Look, I'm just telling y'all, that's a name you should know if you are in this FAMU life. But and I'm not a fan, but I'm a fan. So one of the things with Jerry Lee that I love that y'all do is one, community outreach, which you kind of spoke to, but additionally collaborating with the community. We notice that when you look on your social media page, you all have membership drives, but it's not just a membership drive. You do membership drives at some of the local churches and at some of the congregations. Could you speak to really being able to develop that relationship with community organizations that are really truly grassroots in nature?
Yes. So back in 2017, when I was membership committee chair, trying to find where were the rattlers? Where can I find where the rattlers are? Of course, you see the tags driving on the street. So we had little pluggers that we would put on the car. But Some people see the plugger, yeah, that's good, but I'll get to it when I get to it. So it was a matter of finding where we could go to them and thinking, being a member of an African American church in Jacksonville, looking around, there's a lot of rattlers at the church. And so one of the first membership drives we did was at one of the larger congregations in Jacksonville. And in partnership, the concert choir from FAMU came. And so it was a FAMU day. So, of course, everyone has on their FAMU attire. They're proud. They're happy that their school is represented. They get to see other rattlers. And it was a key in grabbing memberships because you have a table set up to say, hey, I noticed you have on orange and green. I see that you have on a FAMU cardigan. Come on over to the table and talk to us. Let's tell you more about our organization, what we do, and how we need your support. And some people, of course, oh, I don't have the time. I'm working. I'm trying to raise kids. That's good, but we can also use your financial support. So you may not be able to be as active as you want to, but we still could use your financial support. So I must say, connecting with African American churches has helped us tremendously grow our membership, and also connecting with the community. One of our scholarship chairs, she's a director for school behavior health in Duval County Public Schools District, one of the largest school districts in the state of Florida. She's a director, so she is very connected with school counselors. And so that helped us connecting with the community with the education piece. She's done an amazing job when we have our college tour trips. When FAMU comes to town to do the president's recruitment tour, she's able to share that information on a firsthand basis with the counselors to say, hey, we have FAMU coming. We really want students to come out and support. And also with the being involved with the community, of course, the D9. We know a lot of people that attended FAMU are Greek. And so people who are members of the various chapters across Jacksonville was another great way that we were able to spread the word. That when we had our gala in 2023, our gala speaker was a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And so he was able to have the support of his organization. Those who were rattlers and weren't rattlers were able to come to our events, see what we do, and see the scholarships that we were able to give away. And I just got a call recently to say, hey, y'all gave away a lot of scholarships in 2023. I know a student that is at FAMU. How can I get them connected with you all? So just by coming to one of our events in 2023, 2 years later, he remembers he didn't go to FAMU, but he knows that there's a chapter in Jacksonville that supports student scholarships. And there's another opportunity that we've been able to connect with the student.
Okay, awesome. And kind of mentioned, and if you haven't noticed, if you didn't catch all the hints, in fact, she's wearing pearls. She's a member of a certain organization. I believe our first member of the first organization on the show. Would you be able to just speak about some of the roles and some of the things you've done within that organization and make sure you say it right? Because, look, y'all got a certain way of saying it, that you got to make sure you say it right. You don't say it right, boy, they were looking at you funny and lift that pinky off and get mad at you. I ain't having that day.
Yes, so I am a 2019 initiate of the Pi Eta Omega chapter of Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And in the organization, I have served in several roles, such as one of our program targets was HBCU CAP. And this program was geared towards helping high school students learn more about historically Black colleges and universities. So by being in the Alumni Association, connecting those students, telling them more about FAMU, it was another great opportunity to share with the students. And so serving in that role as a program chair, I was able to host seminars to help them with SAT, ACT scores, learning how to write their resume, learning how to professionally speak using my SBI skills, sharing some great tips that they needed to know to prepare for college. And so as a result, of course, a good number of students ended up attending FAMU. Another role that I've been able to serve in is the assistant treasurer for our chapter and also for our foundation, serving as treasurer. Because again, that background in accounting allows me to share the knowledge of finances with nonprofits. So a lot of people have questions about QuickBooks, how to manage their finances. So I've been able to share those skills there. And I've also served as chair for our annual prayer breakfast. It's an annual event that has been going on for over 30 years. And I've been able to successfully host this event for the past 2 years, which is another community initiative geared towards connecting with people in the community and bringing them together.
Okay. Look, so yeah, we've got to, you know, share a couple of the places where Ashleigh lends her skills. But
Yes.
now the reason that we kind of hear, like, she's running for first VP, and could you talk about amalgamate all those skills and kind of talk about how those skills, those experiences, and all these different things help someone in the role of the first vice president?
Yes, in the first vice president role, previously serving as the first vice president on the chapter level, I have realized the importance of supporting the vision of the president, but also being able to serve at any point in time if called upon. So, one of the top skills that I see is strategic planning. So, being able to assess where the organization currently is and being able to share a point of view of some ideas of how we can grow the organization, improve the organization. So definitely those project management skills, looking at the SWOT analysis to see what are our strengths and weaknesses. Because of course we can always grow and we can improve. So looking at from a chapter perspective, being a chapter president on a regional level, being involved with the Florida region, being able to take all of that experience that I have for the past 8 years to now share it on a more broader spectrum on the national level. And so right now, the first vice president, those responsibilities are more geared towards serving as a member on the Alumni Convention Committee. And I have previously served on the Florida Region Conference Committee, planning a conference for all of the members who are active in the Florida region to specifically implement some of the sessions that are beneficial to leaders. So, for example, being a chapter president, there's a lot that you need to know as far as processes, how to deal with the IRS, requirements and compliance, different things like that, and also with bylaws. So at the Florida Region Conference, we were able to implement certain sessions that were beneficial to the leaders because it takes a lot to be a chapter president. And I think being the first vice president now on a national level, I'll be able to collaborate more with all of the national chapters to share those best practices of different things that I've learned as a chapter president, things that I've learned from others just by working with the Florida region, but being able to really share the skills that I have that's led to the growth of the JR Elite chapter in hopes that it will help the national organization grow and continue to evolve.
Okay. I love that. And I love how you kind of went to that grow and evolve thing. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't. That wasn't one of the questions I gave her, but it's coming. We do know that our current president has a goal of 10,000, and really all of us should want at least 10,000. That's what, like 14% of all FAMU national alumni. My math ain't mathing, but that's off the top of my head. I know it's between 15 and 10.
Yeah.
It's more than 10 though. But what ideas, and part of the reason for asking you about some of the successes of Jerry Lee and, having seen that, just from working with the Florida region, how are you going to be able to translate those skills and those successes at JRE Lee to the national level? Like, how do we get that to where we can try to at least get to 5,000? We know 10 is the goal, but within a 2-year period, we got to be realistic about our steps. How do we get it from 3,000 to 4,000 to that 5,000 to 6,000?
So, of course, the first thing is retention. The current members of the association, making sure that they return, that they continue to support the organization so that we can grow from there. The next, as far as recruitment, when I've attended the alumni conventions dating back to 2017 when it was in Baltimore, again, I look around and I don't see our younger generation present. And knowing how important the national meeting is, all the information that is shared, all the updates and changes that come and that are shared with the leaders, a lot of people, I notice, they're not in the know. So one of the goals would be to ensure that people are informed, especially our younger rattlers, to help them understand the impact that the Alumni Association has on the university and the key role that it plays. So definitely finding unique ways for our younger rattlers to be involved and be connected to the association, I think will lead to the growth. I'll tell you, when I first announced my candidacy for first vice president, a lot of the younger rattlers said, "Oh my gosh, are you really running for the national board?" And I said, "Yes." And it was like, wow, that's such an inspiration, because I've never seen that done before, for a younger rattler to want to lead on the national organization. Oftentimes it's more of the older or seasoned rattlers. So I think that's also an inspiration for the voters out there, that having a diverse executive board that has a mixture of our younger rattlers, members of the Student National Alumni Association, as well as some of our older rattlers, shows that we can all come together and support our university. And so I think even looking at homecoming, you see the younger rattlers, they're excited to give back. They join with their freshman classes. They plan out all these amazing events to give back and just support the camaraderie, to remember the times of FAMU. And I think we could do that in the Alumni Association. We find ways that the younger rattlers, what do they enjoy doing? What will draw them to the conference? What are some of the needs for some of the students who've recently graduated from FAMU, who are in that post-graduation state? It's a unique state to be in when you're not sure, I got this degree, but I'm not sure what career field I want to go in. The job I have is not what I got my degree in. Maybe having some sessions geared towards helping students navigate their career field, I think would definitely boost the recent graduate population of members. And also sharing information. Hey, did you know your dues are reduced your first year in the Alumni Association? Did you know that your national dues are paid? So you can be a part of the organization and you don't even have to pay the full amount. You can come in, learn, see how things are done, and get involved. So I think what will ultimately lead to the growth of the organization is we're missing a large amount of the population. Our younger rattlers, they're missing from the organization. I think that will definitely help us get to at least 5,000 members in the organization.
Okay. I like that idea. Look, hey, y'all watch the show. Y'all know I'm big on ideas, and I like problem solving. So, you got a project manager. So I'm just saying, like, ain't gonna be too many problems that are gonna persist with a project manager, especially when they're with the FAMU. So, before we get to, the part where we let you stomp and, get you on the screen, big screen picture, all that good stuff. We gotta get the questions out for you now. Because you kind of answered this, and so we're gonna get this one more. Then we're gonna kind of, what are you going to do to support the president in the role as the first vice president? We do know that the first vice president, you gotta slow down, say it slow, fills in for the president when there's others, things that they can't go to. And if something happens, you next in line. But what are you going to do to support whomever is elected as president?
One of the first things I would do is to understand their vision for the organization, understanding what they think the current needs of the organization are, but also sharing from my point of view what I see from, like I said, being a chapter president, some of the things I've noticed, sharing those things with them. And I think also in that first vice president role, as I mentioned before, knowing the vision, but knowing where I fit. So knowing the vision of the president, for example, with membership growth, sharing, I have strengths in collaboration. So that would be an example of reaching out to chapters, getting their input and support on different things that they would like to see. The chapter presidents are on the front line. So an example would be to have a town hall or some type of session for the chapter presidents to come in, discuss, so we can strategize together. Because I believe it takes a team. And like I said, being a chapter president, a lot of things that we see um, could be shared more, and it would help the organization to improve upon some processes. So definitely listening to their vision, sharing some input of things that I've learned as a chapter president, and involving more people at the table to share their input and ideas, and bringing that all together and implementing a strategy for the overall organization.
Okay. I like that. I like that. So as she told y'all, she born and raised from
Oh,
Duval.
you got
I
it
couldn't
right.
do it like
You
that.
got it
I couldn't do it like new football coach. I was laughing and I was like, bro,
We got to
really?
take some work.
Now I will say my favorite arena football team is the Sharks. So I do
Okay.
normally go up there every couple, so often to catch a game. But not gonna ask you favorite, Jacksonville team. My favorite Jacksonville team is the Red Caps. But IYKYK situation. So, but mentioning that, now, my line brother, you can blame him for this. You might know him, you might not. But my boy James. So Bush put us on, and we found our hole in the wall restaurant. Mind you, I drive an SUV, 8 couples in the car, going to the restaurant. But what's your hole in the wall Jacksonville restaurant?
My hole in the wall, it will be Nesbitt's restaurant off of Avenue B, which is near William M. Raines High School, that my entire family went to. So we used to go there every Friday after the football games, and they have the best shrimp and the best white and fish fillet sandwiches.
Okay. They are they giving Toonies a run for the money?
Yes.
Okay. Look, I was have to go see Bush now. But let him know. Bush is also a Raines grad. So he was like, yo, we gotta go Toonies. We was like, we're gonna go to the spot with the barbecue. He's like, nah, they done fell off, bro. We're going to Toonies. Man, he ain't never let us wrong. It was fire. Now we also know, Jacksonville is known for just its proximity to the beaches and everything like that.
Yes.
What's your kind of, you're busy, project management, NA,
Yes.
this, that, and the third. You ride in the car, hopefully get Jill Scott playing. If not, it's cool. I don't judge.
It's a
Everybody don't
little
love my other girlfriend. But what is your like calming, peaceful thing? Like, you're trying to get away. You ain't got to tell a spot, but what's your calming, like, hey, I need a little bit of relaxation. What's your event you going to, thing you doing to just kind of chill out?
So for me, I actually love live music, and I love our Jazz Fest every year. It's usually in May around Memorial Day. And so between Jazz Fest or Funk Fest or any live concert going on, that is when I really have the time to let my hair down and just enjoy myself.
Okay. All right. Look, I told y'all we gotta see the person behind
Yes,
all that
most
other stuff,
definitely.
man. So some of these questions gonna be questions, others gonna be more personable. Okay. Now, again, we see the pearls. Yeah, I know the question's coming. Now you ain't gotta say no names. You ain't gotta tell where you was, who you was with. But what has been your best experience as a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha? That's how I say, like my other mama say it.
I would say recently this year, 2005, when I served as chair of our prayer breakfast, our keynote speaker was our 25th international president, which is Dr. Norma Solomon White, of course, who is a FAMU legend. And it was truly an honor to serve in that leadership role and to have her as the keynote speaker, and to just be in her presence, to hear her wisdom that she shared on fervent prayer, and also just learning from her. She has a book that she's written on her story, and she's just a woman who truly is a trailblazer. And so to just be in her presence, to just know her, for her to call me by name, I tell you, that is a major accomplishment that I would say as being a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Okay. Were you at the event in Orlando last year?
I was at our regional
Okay.
conference. I was there.
I was there as
And I'll
well.
be in
That
Tampa
was
this year.
okay. That was our first event after we crossed. So we all were like, they're like, y'all have to go. We're like, okay. So Kappa Blazers all. So good times. Okay. Now, you ain't gotta say no names. Okay, look, don't tell nobody you flight walking, Bajas, pot bellies, whatever it was. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I wasn't a club guy. I was a house party dude. I need to party with my same crew. So that way the stories stay where the story's at. And if somebody tell what I did, I know who told. But FAMU experience, your favorite FAMU experience from pre-student life up to now, whatever it was, what's been your favorite experience as a FAMUan?
Aside from going to the club for the first time when I got to FAMU, never stepped foot in the club prior to that. I would say my favorite experience was I was an RA my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And I was an RA in Wheatley Hall and up until my senior year, up until it closed. And I was an RA in Pattyfoot my last year. And being an RA truly was a life-changing experience. Not only did I get to meet people from all over who came to FAMU and who lived in the dorms when we had the community style living, when we didn't have this apartment style that they have now. You truly had an opportunity to build relationships with people. And still to this day, when I go to homecoming, people are like, were you an RA in Wheatley? So it's awesome to be able to connect with people in college, but to still have that relationship still to this day when you go back to campus and you can reminisce different things that went on in the dorms when you had to crack the whip and enforce the rules. We do not have males in the dorms. I don't know what they do now. They probably have males.
I wasn't one of them. I ain't gonna tell you no stories. I wasn't.
But as
Y'all
an
was not
RA
gonna call my
back
dad.
in the day, we had to be a disciplinarian. There were no boys. You couldn't have certain things in your room. So it was truly, I'm grateful for that opportunity that I was able to be an RA.
Okay. All right, cool beans. Look, I'm learning like y'all. So that's some of this is the fun of going, the back and the forth of learning, like, okay, all right. So, and in doing all of that, you've been an RA, you've done a lot. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna ask your age because still like you're in your 20s. I'm like,
I got a few
dang,
grades
kinda
like
young.
Obama. I'm coming
Hey,
out of office.
it's okay. Look, my barber, he trimmed mine out. I was like, I appreciate it, man. You got me looking like I'm back in the threes, doc. But as we see that you are striving for this role and you're striving to continue to serve FAMU and hopefully their aspirations to continue to move up, that's natural trajectory of things in life.
Yes.
Would you be able to kind of tell the people, about yourself, why they should vote for you, and really why you're the best candidate for first vice president?
I would say to all the voters out there who have not voted, because voting did start on April 1st, that I am, I think, the best qualified candidate as a result of my leadership in being a chapter president, a chapter first vice president, but also serving on a committee level. I have the experience of different things that I have learned. And I also have the passion for leading and helping others. And so I would encourage you to please vote for Ashleigh Cooper for a candidate for first vice president. I am committed to striking in excellence in all that I do.
Okay, all right. Look, I want to make sure try to have flyer day. Look, because y'all see, look, that head was laid. She was not playing in the picture. Like I was like, okay, I see. Look, I know some folks.
FAMU, you have to come correct. There's a standard.
Always,
There is a standard.
always. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on, Ashleigh. Look, either way, Jacksonville is. Are you going to stay president? That's if you
So
do,
funny
would you do
story.
both?
I am in my final term of being chapter president. So that's why I
Hey,
said I've served 8 consecutive years, going straight from first vice president to chapter president.
oh yes, you ready? Well, I want to definitely say thank you for coming on. Ashley's one of those I reached out to, and I'll give y'all the tea. Ashley was one of those like, did you invite everybody? And I was like, hey, everybody's welcome. If they hit your man's up, y'all know I'm black. I don't do the word boy. I'm from the South. I I turn black when that happens. But your man's. I was like, hey, I reached out to the presidents and the first vice presidents because I didn't want nobody to say from the presidents to the first vice presidents that I was biased and I didn't pick and didn't welcome people. So I just wanted to make sure that I was welcome. And Ashley was one of those people I reached out to, and she got back to me, and we figured out the schedule. We had to get a couple dates going, but once we locked it down, man, great communication, and honestly, good times, man. I definitely enjoyed myself, and look, when the next be out day in Jacksonville, because y'all look like y'all had some fun.
May 17th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay. Look, you already see next event. I don't know what that is, y'all next event. Y'all don't you have something else
We
in
have our
between?
freshman send off on Saturday, May 10th. At 2:00 p.m. where all of our graduating high school seniors, we will be celebrating them.
Okay. Last one before y'all go. I'm asking this from a point of personal privilege. What do y'all do for the graduating college seniors?
Yes, so this year we are providing them with care packages. So we are asking all of our chapter members to support so that we can provide them with essentials that they may need for their dorm room, any other school supplies that they may need. That we plan to award every student with a care package of love as they prepare to leave. In addition to those students who will be selected as scholarship recipients, we will have a scholarship gala in June where we will celebrate those students as well.
Okay. And we'll see y'all back on the yard to support those that are finishing at FAMU as well. Look, I ain't gonna lie. One of my favorites, and I am extremely biased, is Miss Kennedy. That is, I promise you,
It's a SWAC
I'm like
champion.
swag champion. Look, when I tell you that is a hardworking student who
Very.
does not seek out the attention, that
Yeah.
young lady is an amazing student athlete who also works during the season. She is one of the reasons we need NIL. I'll stump for that kid all day because she don't do it enough for herself. So
Yes,
yeah.
truly amazing student. And she gives back anytime. Whenever we call on her, we have a group of students coming up to Tallahassee. She will give a tour anytime, no matter what she has going on. On game day, she will stop and come over, greet the students, give them a tour, talk to them about her experience as a student, and go back to helping FAMU athletics.
Yes. And for those that don't know, for what she does, we have to report to the games at a certain time, and she's always on time. So just wanted to make sure put that out there. JR Lee's doing some amazing things. Look, definitely, you're always welcome to come on. Definitely share the things y'all doing because, as you can see, post them on the region page. Where I also post them here. And anything else you got before you head up out of here, Ashleigh?
Nothing else. I do want to thank you for this opportunity this evening to speak to the viewers of the Fangs Up podcast in hopes of gaining support, but also just to share my love and passion for the university. So again, thank you for what you do to support the university.
Always. I appreciate it. We're going to drop you down and get ready to close us out so everybody can get to work tomorrow. All right, y'all. As y'all saw, man, look, Ashleigh came on. She was awesome. Like I had a great time. I did not know she had that much experience. Just kind of looking, I did see, but then on the other side, it was really cool to be able to have her share and kind of, share her personality. And so you can see the other side of this, man. For those who didn't see, knowing we do talk about sports, FAMU baseball and softball swept Jackson State. So if you got a JSU fan, wear a little extra orange and green, when they walk past, hit a little shimmy, hit a little stroll, whatever, and remind them that them Rattlers struck and struck and struck again. Literally, we swept them 3 games straight in baseball. I believe it was 2 or 3 games of softball. So, y'all know it's always good times. You get to talk a little trash to Jackson State. It's not as good as whipping Cookman, but it's always a good feeling. And then golf has an event tomorrow. So, but look, get ready. Orange and Green games on Saturday. I might miss that one. Just because we got a lot of stuff going on, Kappa League, other things. So frat meeting. So I'm gonna be dutiful there, take care of the responsibilities. So I'll let Brian and the ONG Strike Zone. They're gonna handle all of that. Tell you all about spring game. Might reach out and do a little live and talk to them. We'll see how that works. But look, man, if you haven't voted, check your emails. The ballots are out. I have not voted myself. I'm not gonna lie to you, I purposely wanted to wait until I got at least all the presidents and first vice presidents through before I submit my ballot. But I'm probably gonna vote tomorrow. So, but make sure you vote. Get that information out there. Look, next week we back to business like normal. Maybe we got one more candidate that reached out, but we're gonna be back to sports, back to talking FAMU. See how this House bill works out for FAMU and the SWAC. We do know that our schools are participating. Are we gonna do revenue sharing? We're gonna see, man. So, all right, y'all. For everybody, HBCU Digital Network, you already know what it is and what it's always gonna be. Fangs up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal.
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Dorsey, how